Hey everybody, I'm Noel, and this is the third developer log for Straycloud, which is the game that I am building and have been building for, I don't know, I guess maybe about the last 18, 20 months, something like that. It's been quite a while now. And is that true? I don't know. It's been over a year anyway, year and a half-ish. Straycloud is a top-down action-adventure game that I'm making in Game Maker 2. And it's so far has been a hobby project I'm working on primarily at night. One of the things that I've wanted to do over the course of this project was be really diligent about keeping up with documentation, and I've done so to varying degrees of success. If you're new to this and you've happened upon this video, I post weekly updates on Twitter and Instagram at Straycloud Games, so you can check that out. And then the intention was to do these devlogs quarterly. I've definitely fallen behind on that, as this is just the third one, but I wanted to make an effort, to keep going as much as I can. I have a tendency to forego doing these as they seem a bit more formal, and I always feel like it's not in a place where it's really ready and presentable, but that's silly because the whole point of this is to be keeping a log and to show where it is at, warts and all. So, since the last one, which I think was October of last year, a lot has happened. It's been almost a year. So if you're expecting these more often, I do apologize for that. I've been heads down, and in that time, it has become not just me, but a small team. I was fortunate enough to have applied for and to have received some funding in the form of a grant earlier this year, and as a result of that, I've been able to bring other people onto the project, which has been amazing. So far, officially, the game in its current form has a composer. The music that you can hear now, I'm working with Joel Korolitz, who's already just really transformed the project with what he's created for it, and I'm beyond stoked to be collaborating with him, so that's super exciting. And as the next kind of 6 to 9 months go on, I might be in need of assistance to kind of create and finalize some of the art assets. So if this is a project that you're following, and you're interested in providing maybe production assistance or animation, let me know. Hit me up. It's kind of something I'm tossing around right now. The art assets are taking a really long time to create, and that's expected. But there could be room for a valuable collaboration there. Anyway, so almost all the music that you'll now hear in the game has been made by Joel. I should note that. If that's not the case, and there's still stuff that I've created in here, I'll try to call that out. What else? Yeah, so the current phase of the project, and I'll skip ahead here out of the title so that we have kind of something else to look at for a minute. So the current phase of the project is by kind of the end of the second quarter of 2023, I intend to have finished a vertical slice of the game. So that will be covering kind of the first couple of story beats. It will have some tutorialization. It'll walk through sort of 1.5 to 2 levels, environments, and feature assets that are in as finished a state as possible. And then after that, the goal will be to try to pitch the game to publishers and see where we get. Try to get further funding in order to finish this thing. So, I think everything that we can see in here is going to be new from the last video. But again, if you follow me on social media, then you've probably seen a lot of this already. Anyway, so we are in the hero's home right now. Seems a logical place to start. They've got some furniture, a little bed, fire's going. Let's venture out and see what we can see. Like I said, I don't really fully remember exactly the state of things in the last one, so I'll just kind of walk through what we have, and if it's the same or if it's different, that's okay. So this isn't finalized, but this is their little house on a cliff. You can hear some light ambience here, the waves and things. Before this phase is done, I don't know if this will be fleshed out a whole lot more. It'll be more detailed for sure, but I don't know if the entire village is going to make it into the vertical slice, but I think that's okay. There'll be some interaction with this character here, who's looking a bit anxious. This will be a piece of tutorialization indicating how markers on the map will work. This is a bigger house for the larger members of this little society. So if we head down here, I should note as well that if at any point the character is walking over things in a way that looks strange, that's because all of these tile sets are really in flux right now, and a lot of them are not configured in a finalized way because they're going to get replaced. So collisions are almost entirely off. So if I accidentally break the fourth wall and walk through a cliff or something, that's, it just kind of is what it is. So in this first little canyon area, we appear to have pretty limited options. If we get close to this, tooltips are one of the things that I've implemented. So if you're near an object that you can interact with, and it's the first time that you've done it, it'll give you some indication of what you're meant to do. There'll be one here as well, or prior to this, teaching the player about how drawing spirit energy works, but I know that, and I haven't implemented it yet. So if we walk up here, you can see in the top left there, we're getting more of an energy draw out of this. Looks full now. If we go one more, then we're overdrawn, and if it lasts too long, it will actually disappear and hurt us. So this was in the game during the last update, if I remember right. But the UI was different, and I'm not sure if I explained it. I probably did if it was there. Anyway, so there's a timer, and the effects aren't in to kind of show it winding down yet, but there will be. And this is one of the elements of the game that introduces a need for faster platforming or puzzle solving, and can also give the player an edge to kind of move through things more quickly. In this case, it doesn't matter. We don't actually need the extra energy, but we have it. Aim, fire there. nice success music indicating that we did the right thing. So now we can proceed here. And we're free to go to a couple different places. I know what I meant to do, so I'm going to go up here. Now we're in a forest area that I've definitely shown a number of times before. There's not a whole lot to do here. This is still included, and like you can see with the tile sets that I'm talking about, these trees are not meant to be over this layer, but this other layer isn't finalized, so it kind of is what it is. Like I said, warts and all. Anyway, there won't be a huge amount to do here, but I do want to keep this in, I think, because, well, it's gotten a good response. People seem to like the forest. So yeah, there's not actually much to do. It's just kind of an area that you run through. So we'll head over here. And this ambience, which is a little more musical, and the other ambiences that are in the game are they're the original kind of placeholder tracks that I made. I should just note that. Right, so we're here. This is also an unfinished tile set. You can see there's kind of some placeholdery assets here, and there's no collisions in here yet. But if we walk up here, we get another tooltip. So this will be, I should note that the kind of effects for this are still a work in progress, but this will be one of the pivotal moments in the vertical slice for the game. Well, and in fact, in the game itself, it'll be a pretty big moment. This is the first encounter that the player will have with with any other living creature in the game world. In this case, it's some kind of a massive creature, almost like a deity or something. Maybe I don't want to give a whole lot away, but it's not doing too well. I think it's clear. There'll be more activity on this in this environment to kind of make the mood more obvious. I think it'll be a bit gloomier than it is, and definitely less static. But we have an objective. So cool. So if you look in the top left, where it was empty before, we now have an elemental ability. That's the first one that we've gotten. I think that scene will have greater impact when the effects layers are finished and the sound effects work has actually gone in. But anyway, so now we have earth power. Those projectiles are not finished sprites, I should note. So now if I head back through here, whoops, and find the exit, there it is. Actually, I'll just jump down here to prevent further fourth wall breaking. There's some smoke and mirrors here where that bridge would not have actually been something I could run, whoops, over the top of. Ruh-roh. Alright. So I have to admit that actually have made an edit in this, because I hit a funny glitch and had to restart the game. So we're back here, and now actually we can run over here and just have a quick look at the scenery, but this doesn't actually lead anywhere yet. There'll be this pipeline in the world, which is kind of a important bit of environmental narrative. This doesn't actually go anywhere yet, and you can see that the tree assets around it are unfinished as well, which is okay. We need to go down here. So this next area is completely just a prototype, as you can see. But what this is doing is, this is a placeholder sprite, but this is using the player's selected ability. So this is the Earth ability, which will eventually ground the player in a state with maybe sort of like a rocky barrier around them. And these colored lines that are intersecting will be wind. And if I step into it, it pushes me till I hit the wall. And I can't really move against it. So I cannot make it to the end of this corridor. But if I do that, then I'm not affected by the wind. I can root myself in place. If I get stuck, let's just blow back to the beginning. This isn't actually a finished or solved puzzle at this stage. It's just an example of how this will work. To get the timing right, get the locations right, get the delay between wind correct so that it's, you have like just enough time to run through without actually getting stuck, that kind of thing. And then add in some secondary obstacles as well, like you have to pause in a certain place and then aim in order to hit a target in order to open a new path, that kind of thing. So this room, and there's one other prototype one that I think I showed in the last video from a while back, that are kind of an exercise in putting together all of these elements, and demonstrating, how that actually level to level game flow will work. Yeah, so if we leave here, this animation is not actually sitting inside of this crack correctly. And there's no music in this stage, so it's still just the music from before. But this is not a finished tile set either, but this is the environment that eventually the character will end up in at the end of this phase of the project, which is big, mysterious tower. And that's about it, really. Like I said, we're aiming for having something complete within the next kind of 8 or 9 months. So we got a ways to go. We've got some time, but also a huge amount of work to do. There'll be, a couple more screens probably than what I've shown here, and the ones that are here will be feature complete. So there's a lot to do. But I'm feeling really good about it. It's getting to a place where it's actually becoming something. It's its own world, and you can run around in it and actually do things. All the prototype interactions are actually being built. They're getting assets, and everything's becoming really real. One of the things that I really want to work toward with Straycloud is to create a world that is very immersive, where those interactions feel very seamless. And I don't want it to be obtuse. I want it to have mechanics that are traditional enough that people who have played, a 2D Zelda game or something can have some grasp of what they're meant to do. But, where I'm coming from, some of my primary inspirations for games in general include things like Another World, the Eric Chahi game, and Shadow of the Beast. Grew up with an Amiga 500 in the house, and those are a couple of games that are definitely, Another World not so much. Once you figure that out, it has its own rhythm. Shadow of the Beast, was kind of felt more in some ways like a tech demo than a game that was actually fun to play. That's not what I'm aspiring to do. But I guess I just mean in the way that the world is very much what it is, especially in a game like Another World. And there's not a lot of prompting. You're dropped into this thing and you just have to sort of figure out what to do. There's something about that I really love. This is definitely not as abstract as that, but it's that level of kind of immersive, totally in-game, storytelling, and the mix of narrative and mechanics that are employed by a game like that is something that I find really admirable. This is a big tangent, but just to kind of indicate what I'm sort of going for and what I'd like to do with this. Yeah, I mean that, and I want it to be fun. So new asset creation and polish. That's where we're at. We're right in the middle of it. Got my head down and just going forward. So yeah, thank you for watching. If this is something that you're interested in, please, if you don't already, follow along on social media at Straycloud Game, or visit straycloud.nz. At the bottom of every page on the game's site, there's a newsletter sign up. Once I get a few subscribers, I will not spam or anything, just send out like a quarterly update. So yeah, there's a number of ways to keep up to date with what's going on. And if that is what you're doing, then thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah. If you're so inclined, let me know what you think. Cool. Cheers. Thanks so much for watching. All right. See you later.